Dear teachers, welcome to the media literacy lecture. So far, we have seen what is media literacy, what is the meaning of media literacy, why it is essential for us to know media literacy as teachers, what is the need and functions and relevance of media literacy in the present world. We have also seen how messages are constructed, how media messages are constructed, and how we can deconstruct them by asking certain questions. Uh, Today, we will see how to deconstruct the media messages by using something which is known as the media triangle. This media triangle is also known as the Eddy Dick triangle, in which there are three elements. From creation to analysis, there are three elements. One is production, next is audience, and third is the text. That means text is, of course, as we saw in the previous lecture, something that we can hear or we can see, not necessarily what we read. So in production, what is produced is very, very important for a particular target audience. So if some energy drinks are made by a company, then what kind of audience they will target? That is important. If let us presume some cosmetics are made by a particular company, then what kind of audience will it target? Okay. Now to target this audience, what kind of messages or what kind of advertisements will have to be released? Okay, so that is also important. And now the messages which are created or the advertisements which are created, how they affect or how they influence the audience or the target audience. So all these three elements, production, audience and text, are interrelated. They go hand in hand. So production of let us presume a cosmetic brand, what kind of audience it will target and what kind of advertisement will the company have to create to appeal to this audience. So what kind of advertisements appeal to that kind of audience? So you see, this is all interrelated. So the moment something is created, how we analyze it is what is important, and that is what the media triangle or Eddy Dick triangle helps us with. Now let us see what is critical thinking. It is the objective analysis of facts to form a judgment. You have to be objective while analyzing some facts when especially you are watching TV or for that matter listening to radio or you are being exposed to advertisements. Okay. So then critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. You cannot just take whatever is thrown at you by the media houses. You cannot just accept whatever is shown to you as logical, or you cannot just believe what is being shown to you that it is true, or you cannot expect yourself to do something just because it is shown in the advertisement. Okay, so that is what a critical thinker is. Then it includes the ability to engage in reflective and independent thinking. You have your own thinking. You, in the sense, a critical thinker has his or her own thinking, independent thinking, and reflective thinking, which is very, very important. Then someone with critical thinking is able to do the following things: understand the logical connections between ideas, if at all there is any logical connection, or there is no logical connection between the shown ideas which are shown, is also important. And identify, construct, and evaluate arguments. Very, very important for you to understand what are the arguments, where are the arguments, and how you can construct some arguments and evaluate whatever is happening on the television or for that matter in the media message. Then detect inconsistencies and common mistakes in reasoning. So if something is defying logic, then where exactly is the mistake? Okay, where is the inconsistency which is there? So all these things are very important, and that is what critical thinkers can do. Then they can solve problems systematically. If at all there is any issue, how to solve these issues systematically is also very, very important, and that is what critical thinkers can handle very easily. And identify the relevance and importance of ideas, how important a particular idea is, or how relevant it is in the present scenario or for the given or for the present generation is also important. Then reflect on the justification of one's own belief and values. You need to reflect on the justification that you have given your own self, or you have justified a particular idea or value or a belief, you should be in a position to reflect on that as well, on the justification. Now, critical thinking does not involve criticizing someone or pulling someone down. It is not negative. It is not you are trying to pull someone down. Critical thinking is just looking at things in a different way. You're looking at things in a different way with a different perspective. That is important because you involve careful evaluation of the responses. So critical thinkers will always evaluate the responses very carefully and think rationally and reason out. So what are the characteristics of critical thinkers? Inquisitiveness with regard to a range of issues. They are very, very inquisitive. You want to know more things about what is happening around you. Why? Because you're concerned to become and remain well informed. You're inquisitive not because you are more interested in someone else's business, but because you want to remain well informed about what is happening around you. Then there is alertness to opportunities to use critical thinking. You're alert to use critical thinking ability that you have. Then self-confidence in your own abilities to reason. You have the self-confidence in your own abilities to reason out. Then open-mindedness regarding divergent worldviews. You are very open-minded and you are flexible in considering alternatives and opinions. So if someone else has any other opinion, you are flexible to accept it. Then understand the opinions of other people. You are thinking from the other person's perspective as well. It is not necessary that you are just uh, looking at a given particular issue only from your side. You're also putting yourself in the other person's shoes and looking at issues. Then you're fair-minded and very honest in facing your own biases, prejudices, stereotypes, or egocentric tendencies. So you're fair-minded, you're honest as a critical thinker, you are a very understanding person. You have the prudence in suspending, making, or altering judgments. If you feel that okay, a particular judgment, the kind of logic that you have used to understand a particular argument is not true, is not correct, then in that case you can suspend your judgment, or you can make or alter your judgment. Then you have the willingness to consider or reconsider and revise views where honest reflection suggests that change is warranted. So willingness to reconsider and revise views where if there is an honest reflection by you, and after reflecting on a particular issue, if you feel that you should be changing your decision, then you are willing to go ahead and change that decision. Then we have something which is known as logical fallacies in the media world. Okay, what is a logical fallacy? It is an error in reasoning that renders an argument invalid. And it is a false statement. So logical fallacy is a false statement which will weaken an argument by distorting an issue, drawing false conclusions, misusing evidence, or misusing language. So this can happen in logical fallacy. So it is a false statement to weaken an argument by misusing language or misusing evidence or distorting an issue. Okay, so that happens normally in when it comes to logical fallacy. So there are different types of logical fallacies. The first one is ad hominem, attacking the person rather than the argument. So if you have seen some of the debates which happen on the television, people who are in the debate, they attack each other rather than talking about the particular issue. So instead of discussing an important issue for which they are on the panel, they will start attacking each other and start arguing with each other, and not about the issue but about some other things. So they are attacking the person and not the argument. And ad ignorantum, where you argue that something is true because it has not been proven to be false. So if something which is not proven to be false, then it is argued that it is true, but it is not proven to be true also. So it is just presumed that it is true because it is not wrong. So something which is not wrong is considered as correct. Okay. So that is called ad ignorantum. Then ad populum. That is, it is a bandwagon. There is an activity or cause that has suddenly become fashionable or popular. So if there is a particular issue which is more popular, or it has become more, or any particular issue which is in news, then everyone will use the same issue to get more TRPs, that is television ranking points on the TVs, or they will try and cash in on that particular issue and gain publicity. And after that, we have something which is called argument from authority. That is an argument that concludes something is true because a presumed expert or witness has said that it is. So an argument especially on news channels, you have these presumed experts or experts, the so-called experts who come in for these various, let us say, interviews or shows, which are debate shows, and then they will argue that something is true. Why? Because these experts say that it is true, or these so-called witnesses say that it is true. So the news anchor or the moderator of the debate will say that okay, this is true because this expert is saying. But who has validated the credentials of the expert? Nobody. Do we know whether that expert is actually an expert in that particular issue? We don't know. Okay, so an argument that concludes something is true because a presumed expert or witness has said that it is. So such an argument is known as argument from authority. Then hasty generalization, drawing conclusions based on insufficient or unrepresentative evidence. So if you are drawing conclusions based on insufficient evidence, then it is known as hasty generalization. And slippery slope, a fallacy that assumes that taking a first step will lead to subsequent steps that cannot be prevented. So this happens, a fallacy which presumes that okay, if I move out of the house, then I might go to the mall, I might shop as much as I can, I will come home and my mother will start shouting at me, or my family members will start shouting at me because I have spent a lot. So this is just a presumption. That is, if you move out of the house, what will happen? Okay, and these steps cannot be prevented. It means nobody can stop you from going to the mall for shopping, if possible. So this is called slippery slope. Then straw man, when a person ignores one actual position and presents an exaggerated one. Okay, so if any issue is there, okay, which is being discussed, and suddenly that actual position or actual issue is ignored, and an exaggerated uh, point of view is presented before the audience. Okay, that is called straw man. And red herring is ignores the question which is asked. So sometimes there are people who come on television channels and they, instead of responding to the question which is asked, they will make sure that they give the justification to some issues which have actually cropped up, which was not related to the particular show or to that particular uh, to that let us say to that channel, we can say. So they just ignore that question and they just give clarification or justification of things which are not even asked. Then false dichotomy, it argues there are only two options when really there may be many. So something, okay, the argument may be like, okay, something is right or something is wrong. Whereas there might be other things also which could be in the picture. But that is not shown or that is not argued upon. So that is called false dichotomy. And begging the question, often called circular reasoning, occurs when the believability of the evidence depends on the believability of the claim. So it is often called circular reasoning. That is, it occurs when the believability of the evidence depends on the believability of the claim. So you can believe the evidence only if the claim is believed. Okay. So if this happens, only then that happens. So if this can happen, or rather this happens because something else happens. Okay, so this is very important. So we have seen what is logical fallacy as well. Now we have seen uh, in this particular lecture we have seen the different types of logical fallacies. We have seen what is critical thinking and what are the characteristics of critical thinkers. Now, dear teachers, you will have to do an assignment in media literacy. I will be posting the assignment in the Google Classroom, and I will also go ahead and give you instructions as to how you need to submit this assignment. And this assignment will be of 50 marks. Okay, and based on that, we will try and grade you. So make sure that when you are doing the assignment, this is the assignment that we are doing for for the grades that you are supposed to get. Okay, and we are going to give it 50 marks, and then maybe we can scale it up to 100 marks. But right now I will tell you that there will be this assignment that you will have to do, and how to do it, what has to be done, all these details I will post on Google Classroom, so that you can submit your assignments uh, on time. Of course, I will give you sufficient time to work on the assignment as well, so you can be rest assured about that. And we will also look at submitting these assignments, or how to submit these assignments when they have to be submitted. Okay, so don't worry about that, but just keep in mind that on Google Classroom, one of these days I will be posting the assignment, since 99 of you are there on Google Classroom. And if anyone is not there, one of you is not there, so maybe that person can, or that teacher can get in touch with me, or the teacher can get in touch with the others, or try and get on Google Classroom so that you know what is the assignment. Okay, with this we will stop here, dear teachers, and we will continue in the next lecture. Thank you for your time. Appreciate your patience. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.